Hello. So today I wanted to do a lesson on some sight words in English. So sight words are words um, when um, we use them in elementary school for kids to help them to be able to look at a word and just know what it is instead of needing to sound it out. And that happens, you are able to see something and know it automatically just by seeing it a lot. And another thing that helps when you're doing it is not only seeing it and reading it, right? But also seeing it, reading it, and then saying it. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to go through a list of a bunch of words that might seem really easy to you, but I want you to be able to look at them and be able to instantly know what it is instead of having to think for a minute like, oh, what does it sound like? What does it mean? I want to be able to help you to see them and just go, boom, I know what that word is. It's this word and this is what it means. Um, just so you can, it'll help you to read better and also to speak better. So the first word, I'm just going to go through and the word will come up and I want you to look at it and read it. So this word is walk. Now this one is really easy, right? Walk is a verb. We use it all the time. But so I have a picture here of like what it is. But I also wanted to show you with this word, walk, um, since it is a verb, it's an action word, I wanted to show you all of the different ways it could be. So you should be able to look at this word and just go walk and know what it means. But also that it can look a little bit different sometimes. So walk, right, is simple present tense. Walked, not walked. It's walked, makes like a T sound at the end, even though it's a D. So walk, walked, past tense. Walking is the present continuous, right? Or the present progressive. Walked, I have walked home, or I have been walking. So those are all of the different ways that walk can look and sound. Okay, so this one is two. So again, it'll show when this one word shows up on the screen right here, just try and go, boom, try and read it instantly, right? And then say it out loud. So two, I have two children. So this word, we have three different twos in English, right? We have to, to, which is like, I went to the store. Then we have this two, which is TWO, and it means the number two. So right here we have like the number two, and we use it for counting things, right? I have two children, one, two. These are not my children, in case you're wondering, but I put it on there. Okay, so the next word is or. So or is what we use when we're thinking of options, right, in English. So do you want soup or salad? We can see a movie or play a game. So before, this word is before. And I put it in some sentences so you could see it. So put on your jacket before you go outside. I am going to the store before I come home. So before is what we use when we talk about time, but when we talk about it when something is going to happen in front of another thing. So you put on your jacket before you go outside. You don't put on your jacket when you go outside. You put it on before so you don't get cold. So eat, another easy one. Eat. I eat dinner at 4. I ate dinner. I am eating dinner. I have eaten dinner. or I have been eating dinner. So eat, I got a picture of it. I'm sure you know these words, but it's just to help you to be able to look at them and read them really quickly. Again. So do it again is like repeat. So do it again. My sister is picking me up again. It means that something's happening, over and over. So again. So play. Play is another one. The examples that I have, since it's a verb and you use it a lot in different ways, in different tenses in English, I have them all here. So I play with my kids. I played with my kids. I am playing with my kids. I have played with my kids. I have been playing with my kids. So play can mean like doing an activity, right? But it also can mean like play an instrument, right? Or play music. That's another way you can use it. Who? Who is the word that we use when we're asking a question about a person? So, who are you? Who is coming to dinner? I don't know who they are. So, it's what we use when we, it's our question word for people. Been. So been or been, sometimes you'll hear it in English pronounced. So it's just the special past tense verb for the verb be, right? So you have be, am is are, right? Those are present. Then you have past, which is was or were, and then you have been. Being is what we call the past participle, which is just a verb that we use when we are using a certain tense, when we use the what is it, the past or present perfect progressive. That's the tense that we use. Sorry, that took me a second to remember that. But so you could say, I have been living with my sister, or you could say, I have been living with my sister. I have been, or it has been a long time since I saw my family. May. So May, I did the two different ones. So May, or May. So may can be like, I may need some help. I may buy a new car. It just means that you could do it or you could not do it. It's not sure. It is not certain that you will yes do it or no do it. So when you use may in front of a verb, it means that, if you said, I need some help, that means, yes, I need help. If you say, oh, I may need some help, you're just saying, I might need some help. You might need to come help me, or you might not need to come help me. I don't really know. So there's that may, and then there's May, like the month in the year. So you could say, it is my birthday in May. Stop. So I put some of the ways to say it since it's a verb. So you have stop, stopped, or stopping, right? Off. Turn off, or turn the light off, or stay off the couch, right? Never. So never is what we use in English. This is kind of a long explanation, but I never eat meat. If you said that, that means that every time you eat food, you do not eat meat. Or people will use never. It just means to make sure that you do not ever do it. That's what never means. It means do not do any time. Absolutely do not do. So never, when we say never, I never eat meat. That means every single food you eat, it does not have meat, and you do not eat meat at all. Now, if sometimes at work, I don't know if this is how it works in the hospital, but when it says never leave dangerous objects in patients' rooms. It just means you know, you will not ever, or you do not ever, never leave dangerous objects in patients' rooms. It means it will not happen at any time. It will never happen. Does not happen at any time. But sometimes in English, people will say never, and it just kind of means that they don't do it a lot. So for example, somebody could say, my son never sees me. Some people say this and they just mean, you know, it doesn't mean that they have never seen them, they do not see them. It just means that they don't visit a lot. So usually when somebody is talking about their life, like, oh, my son never visits me, I never get to buy new clothes, or I never get to do fun things, they're not saying never, but sometimes when we are given instructions, like when our boss tells us to do something, our supervisor, or when we're reading something about how to do something, when they say never, it just means do not do it all. You cannot do it. And that's all it means. 7, it's another number. So I have 7 brothers. We ate dinner at 7. I leave for work at 7. So this is the way that we write it, right? But then we write it out in English as this, 7, because that's how we say the number is 7. 8. Okay, so that's another easy one. We are eating dinner at 8. The appointment is at 8 a.m. So this one is, the way this is spelled, E-I-G-H-T, instead of like 8 food, right? This one is talking about the number. Cold. So here, I'll put this over here, my little screen. So it is cold. So right, we know what cold means. We live in Utah, so it's fine. But you can say it in different ways, right? You could say it is cold. Salt Lake is colder than Los Angeles. It is the coldest in January. So these are some of the ways that you can say it. So cold, colder, coldest. But the word that I wanted to show you was cold. So you'll be able to see that and be like, I know what that word is. I know how to say it. Today, so I am leaving early today. Fly, right? Another easy one. Oh, I'm in the middle again. Okay, so fly. I fly home on Wednesday. I flew, right? This is a verb, so it changes. I flew back on Friday. I have flown to Canada before. Flown is the special verb, right? I have been flying a lot lately. So those are the different ways. Fly, flew, flown, flying. Those are all the different ways that you could say it. And when we say fly, we could be talking about an airplane, or we could talk about like a bird or something. It just means something that's like moving through the air. Myself. So myself is, I made myself some coffee, right? I don't like being by myself. I will do it myself. So myself, you'll see, is 2 words put together, the word my, M-Y, and self. So self means, in English, when we say self, right, it just means you're talking about one person, right? Their own person, this own person. When you say myself, you're talking about, oh, that's me. But you could say himself, and that means you're talking about him. You could say herself, and it means you're talking about her. You could say they walk to school by themselves. So that one's saying, right, it uses they, but it says selves, you know, themselves. Self is talking about just a person, just one person. And we use things like my or her or him or them to talk about if we're talking about like him or her or them or they, that kind of thing. So the last word is round. So Again, all of these words I'm sure you have read before and you're probably like, this is really easy, but I'll show you what I mean at the very end. So I just wanted to go over the words in case you didn't know them. So round it's what we use to talk about the shape of like a circle. So you could say they have a round face. You could say a person, my sister has a round face. And it just means this, right? But their head is kind of like a circle almost. Or, this is called a roundabout. It means that it's round, it's like a circle. But there's also something you need to remember is that round is different from a round, right? So even though this says a round, the a is not next to the round. This is a word. This is its own word. Round in this sentence is its own word. A round is put together. So that one's a little bit confusing. I won't confuse you by trying to explain why it is that way, but this is a roundabout, or saying, oh, they have a round face, or can you pick up the round plate or the round dish. It's just talking about it's like it's a circle. Okay, so for this part, I'm going to click through. I'm going to go through all of the words. I'm not going to say anything, but I want you, while you're watching this, to read them and say them out loud. And I'm going to go pretty fast. So, and I'm going to do it a few times. So the words that you have trouble with, try to remember them. Try to remember the words that you have a hard time reading quickly, but I am going to go through this quick. So we're going to go through it quick, and you're just going to read them and say them out loud. Okay, so I did them all. So if that was too fast, I'm going to do them again. And I'll do them a little bit slower. But this time, just try and figure out which ones are hard. And you can rewind this part of the video with like your finger on your phone. You can rewind this part to watch it over and over again to just practice better. So I'm going to go a little bit slower this time. Okay, so that's it for the lesson today. We're going to keep working with these sight words, just words that you can be able to just read and know really quickly. But that's it for today.